But I remember just breaking down at work, and I was like, I'm so tired. I didn't really have a relationship with God, but I knew of God. And that's why I was just like, I'm just so tired. Just so tired. And I remember this lady walking in, and she had asked me what was wrong. And I was just like, I'm just going through a lot. And she asked me, she was a teacher over at Virginia College at the time, off Pops Ferry, where the college used to be. She was like, have you ever thought about going to school? Have you ever thought about this? Ever thought about that? But I remember after she had left, I told her no. But after she left, I was still crying. Like, I just had an emotional day.
Yeah.
And I remember going home that night. Now, the guy who was my husband now, Shumford, we worked at McDonald's together.
Okay.
He had already given me his number. It was like,
Okay.
call me if you ever want to talk, And at that time, he was like, when I first seen him at McDonald's, he wasn't a guy I could see that was a godly man. He was like, he still looked like he smoked and, all that stuff. And I showed no interest at all. It was just like, but he had given me his number one day and told me if I ever wanted to talk, call him. Around this time, it was like, I seen him coming into McDonald's with his Bible and stuff like that. So that night I called him and I was just telling him all the stuff that I had been through and the stuff that I was going through. And he said, just turn all the lights off and just begin to call on Jesus.
Jesus.
But as I began to call on God and just ask him to help me, I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to live this life anymore like this. I'm just tired. I feel like in that moment, that's when God saved me.
Jesus.
And what's so crazy was after he stayed on the phone with me while I was praying. And after I got done praying, I got back on the phone and started talking to him, and I got a text message. And the text message said, "Are you free tonight? I got 200.
Wow.
And it was so crazy. It's crazy how the enemy works, right? I didn't know at the time, but it was like, you just called on Jesus, right? Yeah. So here you go. Let's see, But like I said, I didn't know still. I didn't have that relationship, but God allowed me to not respond to that message. And I ended up going to church that following Sunday with him, with Shumford. And I was in there, and after Apostle McCoy finished ministering, he came by me and he pointed to me, and he began to speak in my life and talk to me about my mom, about how God was going to, heal our relationship. Because I was really angry with her, from the moment she had put me out being pregnant with my daughter. Yeah. And he was telling me that God was going to heal my body as well, because I was having some issues, some pain in my bottom, my lower area. And I walked out of there, and I remember Shumford, because he was my friend, Yeah. He was like, was that real? Was he telling the truth? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Wow. But I ended up going to the club that following weekend. But I remember being in the club, and I remember it was like this mist of fog. And I remember saying to myself, what am I doing here? I left that club and I didn't look back. And I started going to church. I had given up just everything. It was like he had did a quick work with me. It wasn't like a stalled out thing. Like he knew he had to save me, you know. I cut family off. I cut everybody off because I no longer spoke the language. I no longer could be on the phone with my mom or my sister asking me questions about how can they get money up out of this guy or how can they do this. I was the person they was asking this stuff. That's how deep I was into this, you know. And my life just changed after that. And I didn't club no more. I didn't use guys. I didn't let guys use me. I knew what real love was. If he could save somebody like me, love somebody like me, I didn't know love until I knew Jesus.
Come on.
He cleaned me up and he turned me around. He turned my life around. And I didn't care about what people thought about me anymore because I was new. So my past, I didn't let my past dictate who I was no more. And even though it has still affected me in my adulthood for what happened to me, when it came to my own daughter, you know, getting married and stuff like that, I was so protective of her. I wouldn't let my husband chastise her or anything, you know. It don't go anywhere. It's like if you don't deal with the eternal stuff and really get it out, talk about it, you can't go nowhere. Because it haunts you forever. It'll dictate your whole life because you're allowing this stuff to affect you into your adulthood with your children because of what has happened to you.